Hello, everybody. It's good to be here again with all of you. I hope that you guys are, giving space to your siblings, respect to your parents at this time. Last time we did a little bit about Hilchos Pesach. We talked about the month of Nisan and the reasons why it's so important. We talked about Shabbos HaGadol and why that's so important. We discussed the types of chometz, the four types of chametz, and we talked about the five types of grains that can become chametz, and only these five types of grains can you make matzah from. We talked about the rabbanon, the kitnius, the grains from our sages, and we talked about the three types of matzah. Now today, I'd like to very quickly go over the other very important law on Pesach, and that's called hashbasas chametz, to get rid of chametz. Now, our sages told us that from the time that the Korban Pesach was brought on Erev Pesach, from that time on, no more chametz was supposed to be eaten. So we stopped eating chametz at a certain time. Actually, we do it an hour earlier than our sages allowed us, at chatzos, at noon, when the Korban Pesach was started to be brought. So our sages told us how to get rid of chametz. And they tell us that from the Torah, you get rid of chametz, something that's called bittul belev. As long as you say to yourself, I don't want it, I don't want to own it, it's not mine, that would be good enough. But our chachamim come along, and they tell us, no, that's not good enough. We have to also show that we are getting rid of chametz. So what they did is they made the rule of bedikas chametz, that we search out the chametz the night before Pesach, and there are certain laws that go with that. And then we put it away until the morning of Erev Pesach, and at which time we burn it. We burn the chametz at that time. That's one way of getting rid of it. And the other way that we get rid of chametz, and we show that we do that, is by selling it. We sell it to a non-Jew. It's a legitimate contractual sale. And that's how we get rid of chametz on Erev Pesach. I would like you all to take your Haggadahs and take a look at the section that talks about where Baruch Shemer Haftachasa Yisrael, where Hashem remembers His promise to Israel, and it talks about that Hashem told Avraham by the famous covenant between the parts, the Bris Ben Absarim, He said to Avraham, Yedoya Teda, you shall surely know, Ki ger yezaracha be'eretz lo lahem, that your children will be strangers in a land that's not theirs. And they'll work there, they'll be enslaved there, they will suffer there for 400 years. Now, the question is like this. Where does it say in the Bris Ben Absarim, in that covenant between the parts that Hashem made with Abraham, that the Golus, that the exile, had to be in Egypt? It says Be'eretz Asher Lo Lahem. How does Be'eretz Lo Lahem refer to Mitzrayim? I mean, the Jews were in many, many countries that was not theirs. Maybe it had to take place in one of those countries. How do we know it was in Egypt? So I saw a beautiful, beautiful answer to this question from the Chassam Sofer. And he says like this. When Yosef became second to Pharaoh, when he became the viceroy of Egypt during the famine of the land, so what did Yosef do? He gathered up all the foods and he stored them and he had them all set for the years of hunger. And then the Egyptians themselves, they came and bought food for their gold and silver. And it says in the Chumash, when they had no more gold and silver, they bought the food with their animals. They gave up their animals. And when they had no more animals left to buy food, they bought it with their land. That's what it says. Now, who owned all the land in Egypt? Paro. It was the only nation in the world, the only nation in the whole world, where the people did not own the land that they lived on. So now we see how the slavery and the suffering that the Bnei Yisrael had to go through had to be in Mitzrayim. It was the only place where it could be said, Be'eretz lo lahem. It doesn't mean the land that did not belong to the Jews. It means that the land did not belong to the Egyptians. Lahem. It was a land that was not theirs, because the people that lived on that land did not own it. And therefore we understand better what it means when Hashem told Abraham, Yodoa teda ki ger yeh zaracha be'eretz lo lahem. And that had to be the land of Egypt. Okay. I'm going to continue next time with some more Divrei Torah on the Haggadah. So please, in the future, I'd like to ask all of you to have your Haggadahs handy so you can look inside exactly at the section and read along with me where it says it, so you understand the Divrei Torah a little bit better. Shalom, and we'll see you next time.